Do you have a botched tattoo? Have you been told your botched PMU can't be fixed? And are you tired of being ignored when asking for help? My name is Kelly, co-founder of Hyperreal Academy, and my clinic specializes in advanced machine techniques that includes corrective work. So today, I'll spill the tea about permanent makeup correction, why so many artists say no to tattooing over other people's work, and all of the important steps you need to take when seeking out a corrective procedure. Let's start with the tea so nobody can accuse me of clickbaiting. Here's the truth. Corrections are a completely different genre of cosmetic tattooing. Corrective tattooing is not just one skill, but it's a whole world of advanced and specialized techniques. And these come with unique specialized machines, as well as unique and specialized tattoo application methods to pull these off. On the other side of the coin, botched tattoos also come in all shapes, sizes, and levels of severity. Furthermore, not every tattoo is fixable with more tattooing, of course. But even if I were to tell you that I can't fix your botched work, it doesn't mean that you're out of options. But first, let's start with this. What is corrective cosmetic tattooing? Corrective PMU is one of the most advanced procedures in all of cosmetic and paramedical tattooing. This is because it requires us to mask, adjust, or otherwise alter an existing tattoo that's done by somebody who we don't know. When we cover up a tattoo, we will also need to predict what our healed results will look like on top of this existing tattoo, so we don't make a bad tattoo look even worse. All of what we do requires technical mastery, strategic design, a trained eye for color and symmetry, and above all, clinical restraint. We know when to tell our clients we can't give them what they want and need, and most importantly, we are then going to send them to somebody who can. More on that later, but let's talk about why most artists say no. Most artists don't offer corrective procedures. Why is that? Because it's very difficult to fix somebody else's messed up tattoo compared to fixing your own messed up tattoo or doing a new tattoo or simply touching up your own work. Let's put yourself in the shoes of your artist. So your artist will not have any of the records of what pigment was used and also what technique was done that made the tattoo botched, which means they're not going to really know why half of that eyebrow is turning green while the other half is turning yellow. They can only make educated guesses. Without those records, you're going to have to rely on your observation skills to see what color is present and then how to cover any undesired tones. So that's where your training in color theory comes in very handy. You'll also need tattoo experience because predicting healed results accurately is important for every single kind of cover-up. To put it plainly, you can't just layer another tattoo over an old tattoo and expect a miracle to happen. It is common to see a lot of artists stating in their policy that they will not tattoo over work done by other clinics. This is normal. These artists can be anywhere from new talent to established professionals who just don't want to be on the hook for somebody else's terrible work. If you show up with a complicated case for your artist to cover, don't be surprised to hear that they either can't do it or they can't guarantee successful results. Many highly experienced artists can still lack the training and expertise to do corrections. Some artists will simply ghost you and move on, rather than tell you honestly they lack the machine proficiency or they lack the experience to fix your tattoo. I understand that a lot of people will not admit that. Many of my clients tell me their stories about being brushed off, lied to, ghosted when looking for corrective work, and that's actually a big reason why I shot this video. Look, I'm always going to disagree with the people who ghost their clients. If you've seen even one of my other videos, you already know what I'm about. We're all about transparency, honesty, and ethics here. That's what makes my clinic successful. But you know, it's normal to need to contact a few different places, and it's also normal to hear a lot of no's before you find your artist to do corrective work. This brings us to what exactly goes into a permanent makeup correction? How does it work? A PMU correction or revision is the process of improving a tattoo that's healed poorly, discolored, misshapen, or was in some way botched by the original artist who did it. It's not the same as a routine touch-up since your artist won't be tattooing over their own work. You're likely going to be missing important details like what pigment and what technique was used because you don't have those same records. You're not really refreshing the tattoo either in a correction, you're mainly redesigning it, altering it so that it is aesthetically better than how it was before. This means that any corrective work will be limited by the existing pigment that's underneath. So the shape is limited, the color will be limited, and the darkness will be set by what's already there. So what does that mean? It means you can't successfully go thinner on brows that were done too thick. Similarly, you can't reshape eyeliner or lips either without either going darker or expanding the shape to be bigger to completely eclipse the old work. This is the same exact concept as a cover-up done on a body art tattoo. So let's talk facts. Tattoo corrections will generally focus on these areas. Color correction, meaning any blue, gray, orange, green, any undesirable undertones. Shape correction, adjusting for symmetry and balance. Targeted cover-up over patchy areas or any missing spots. And finally, a partial or a full tattoo removal. And to the surprise of no one, corrections are almost always done by a different artist than the one who created the original tattoo. Now, here's what you should expect when you're booking your correction appointment. It starts with a consultation, ideally a free one. All of the consultations at Hyperreal Academy are free. During this consultation, I will assess the tattoo, your skin, and your goals to either cover it up or to revise the tattoo. If you have your paperwork from your last artist, even better, but I'm not holding my breath on that. It's not absolutely necessary. Then we're going to build a plan together, which can span multiple sessions. So that's why we have to talk about this together so we can make sure that what you want is within budget and it's something that is going to be done within your timeline that you have in mind. So this is a very collaborative process and transparency plays a key role. Typically, my eyeliner and lip blush procedures will not require a touch-up for 2 to 5 years, but when I do corrective work, I won't have this expectation. Even with my real tint machines, pigment, and specialized techniques, I can still sometimes space out a correction into multiple sessions as a way to work conservatively because we don't want to oversaturate the skin. That's one of the big things that we try to avoid because oversaturating the skin is just such a troublesome thing to do. Let's talk examples. So for gray brows, we generally will use warm pigments like orange, yellow, salmon pink to neutralize the nanobrow hair strokes or the shading that was done underneath. This is sometimes known as a color refresh, but when you're doing corrections, you're going to have to use full saturation tattooing. So that's a more complicated skill. If your lip blush is looking dull, we would typically correct this with either a saline removal first or layering a corrective color to brighten up the color underneath. If an eyeliner is uneven, we will add to the area that's missing and we might fix the shape a little bit, specifically along the taper of the line so that we can make it look nice and tapered and elegant. And for blowouts, unfortunately, I'm so sorry, these are not fixable without removal. Don't trust anyone who says otherwise. This brings us to, should we be doing a correction or a removal, or both? Here's a fact. If your tattoo is too dark, fully saturated, or implanted too deeply into the dermis, any correction would then be impossible without a removal first. Ink on the skin behaves like ink on paper. You can't layer a light color over black ink and expect it to work. Tattooing anything over fully saturated skin will result in the skin simply shedding the new pigment while the old tattoo remains firmly in place, in mocking contempt. Thankfully, unlike paper, our skin can metabolize the ink that's in it. This means that the skin will remove a little bit of the pigment at a time over time. Saline and laser removal treatments work by speeding up this process of metabolization to get rid of the ink that makes up your tattoo. At Hyperreal Academy, I teach all of my trainees that oversaturated work must never be covered without lightening it first. We're not in the business of botching a botched tattoo any further. So we can cover removals in another video, but here's the summary. Saline and laser removal treatments are the two common ways to reliably remove a tattoo, and this includes PMU. The pigment particles suspended in your skin are targeted by the treatment, either drawn out by saline or shattered into smaller particles by a laser. Your immune system will then flush out the particles, leaving you with a lighter tattoo. This treatment can be repeated in multiple sessions so you can eliminate more and more of the tattoo as you continue this treatment. While this treatment can eliminate almost all of the tattoo pigment in multiple sessions, sometimes we only need 1 or 2 sessions for a successful correction. And here's how that works. Partial removal opens up more options to fix botched work. By completing a few rounds of removal, you will be able to reduce the amount of old pigment and get a much better canvas to produce higher quality results. So this isn't a full removal, that's why we call it a partial removal. You will see this in a lot of clients who have had nanobrows for many years, and they still want that same feathery result. So by removing some of the old pigment, doesn't have to be all, you will get more skin showing between the hair strokes, so then you can get those super nice, soft wisps. This is a very routine procedure that's done by people who have had their permanent makeup for many, many, many years. A removal will most likely be necessary to fix the following: complicated cases of botched tattoos, tattoos that are too large in size, too deep in color, implanted too deeply, or done in an incorrect shape that can't be fully covered with another tattoo. A correction will improve the color and shape of the existing tattoo, but this is best used for mild to moderate corrections, and it shouldn't be relied on for saturated tattoos or complicated corrections. Another important fact, a laser procedure is considered to be a minor surgery. I'm not a doctor, I look like one, but I'm not. I'm a cosmetic professional, so I know a lot of excellent doctors, nurses, plastic surgeons, and of course, laser techs. In order to make sure that you get a safe and successful removal, you're going to need to make sure to go to a licensed medical facility under the supervision of a licensed physician. The best results often come from getting a removal and then a corrective tattoo. A skilled artist will know when to take on the correction and when to refer their client to a trusted colleague instead for a removal. Now that you know how it works, let's talk about who you should go to for your corrective procedure. So we covered this. Not every artist should be doing corrections. In fact, most don't, and that's the right call. Corrective work is a specialization within permanent makeup that requires advanced skills, including the following: advanced color theory knowledge, machine mastery, extensive tattoo experience to accurately predict healed results, experience working on scarred or uneven skin. This is a big one for people who have gotten microblading done. Without the right knowledge, experience, and techniques, you risk making a bad situation even worse. You risk botching the already botched. This is why healed results are important to consider before attempting any correction. Let's look at the results and longevity of healed corrective work. A lot of people might not know this, but corrective work does not last as long as fresh work. When doing corrections, the fresher layer will almost always fade before the old pigment, because then the skin is going to become more saturated, and therefore it will likely reject more of the pigment. This is why we mentioned that tattoo removals are often combined with corrective tattooing, and that's to produce aesthetically successful results without being limited by the existing pigment. So with that said, if you're doing a corrective procedure without first doing a tattoo removal, expect the results to last maybe about 1-2 years before a touch-up is recommended. And I hesitate to even give you a timeline because there's so many factors that go into what makes corrective work last a little or a long time. So you're going to have to ask your artist during your consultation to get an accurate timeline. But one thing is almost certain, your corrective work will not last as long as your fresh work, even if it's a successful correction. And you know what? If your artist isn't honest about these expectations, red flag. Okay, let's talk about the red flags to watch out for when you're looking for corrective procedures. Avoid any artist who says they can just cover it up, especially without even seeing a picture of your tattoo. Doesn't examine your tattoo first. Are you serious? Uses skin-colored ink to cover up dark pigment. Stay the hell away from these people. They don't even know the basics. Offers corrections, but doesn't have any pictures of corrective work in their portfolio. Can't show you healed work, girl. Gets defensive when asking questions. Oh my goodness. It's your precious face and somebody already messed up your last tattoo. Come on, you deserve better. Avoid these red flags. Now, let's go over how to review an artist's portfolio. You're going to look for healed results, before and afters showing the original botched tattoo in the before, and seeing how they made the corrections for the afters. Ideally, the artist should have some process videos. Everybody can make videos nowadays, and having these behind the scenes process videos makes it really easy to see what they're doing and to see what the process is, what techniques they use, and that makes you trust the person a lot more. A big plus is seeing a wide range of skin tones and tattoo conditions, because that shows us that this person has experience and this person will know what to do with your skin tone. Pro tip, look for videos and photos. Photos, yes, photos can be photoshopped and filtered, but videos are a lot harder to manipulate. Look for close-ups of their tattoo as well as full face shots to see if this artist has a good eye for balance, proportions, symmetry, along with some of the finer details. So let's say you found the artist who is going to do your procedure. Here are some questions you can ask them during your consultation. Have you corrected tattoos like mine? Do I need a removal first? What pigments do you use for color correction? What pigments are you going to use for my color correction? Can I see some before and after pictures of your previous work? Are you trained in saline removal? They don't have to be, but bonus if they are. How many sessions do you expect to do my correction? Now, don't be embarrassed to ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask every single one of these questions. In fact, these are some really basic, standard questions. And remember, you're consulting for a specialized procedure with ostensibly an experienced professional. You should expect your artist to answer every single one of these questions if they're not a... In 2025, a botched tattoo is not a forever mistake. If your tattoo didn't turn out the way that you wanted, don't lose hope. Every single day, there are professionals training, even here at Hyperreal Academy, to learn how to do corrections from basic to complicated. And me personally, at my clinic, I'm very happy to see that more and more artists are becoming interested in training corrective techniques. As a client, your job is important too. Start with a consultation. Ask as many questions as you need to. And find an artist who understands that less can often be a lot more. Successful PMU correction must blend art, technique, and ethics. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe, hit the bell for updates, and share this with somebody who would like some free PMU education. And I will see you in the next one.